Welcome, design students. In this series of lessons, we're going to apply the concepts we learned in our last Intro to Rigging tutorial, and we're going to rig the rabbit that we created earlier. Now, the process is going to be exactly the same, except for we're going to have to do what is called painting vertex weights onto our mesh. And I apologize for the background noise you hear. It just started raining really, really hard, and so there's a lot of noise in the background right now. Now, this is my rabbit mesh. Now, if you are planning on using your own rabbit mesh, that is fine. But it will need to be pretty well done. In other words, you have to have a lot of edges, and it has to be balanced and everything else. Now, if your mesh is less than ideal, or if you feel that it's not usable, then you're welcome to download my mesh from the link provided in this assignment and use that one. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and prepare the scene for rigging, and then we're going to apply some bones in the next, or create some. Now in this video, we're going to prepare the scene for rigging, and then in the next video, we're going to create some bones. So let's get started. Let's start by turning off smoothing by pushing 1 on your keyboard. And then we're going to delete everything in this scene that we do not need. We do not need these reference planes any longer. They are in this layer here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those. So let's start by turning off smoothing, and then we're going to select these reference planes that we used here. I have them in a layer here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this layer by right-clicking on it, but that will not delete the planes, but they will become visible now. And then I'm going to select them in the outliner and delete them. And let's see, this is the rabbit body, so I'm going to go ahead and rename this body and give it a prefix of geo. Remember our naming convention from before. And this next object is the stitched eye, so I'm going to name this geo Li. And this is the right eye, so I'm going to name this geo Ri. And the cube is the mouth, so I'm going to name this geo mouth. Now we do not need this sky dome light, so I'm going to delete that. Then I'm going to select all 3 of these things in the outliner, the geometry things, and I'm going to freeze their transformations. Now what that will do is, if you look in the channel box for all of these objects, the transformational data, in other words, where it has been moved to or how it's been scaled or rotated, is in the channel box. We need to delete and zero out all that data. But before we do that, I want to switch to the front view. And I want to make sure that my mesh is centered. It is exactly centered, so we don't need to worry about that. And then we'll switch back to the perspective view. And now, with these 3 selected, we're going to go to Modify, Freeze Transformations. And you will see that all of these are now 0, and that is what we need. And then finally, I'm going to take all 3 of these with them selected here, and I'm going to create a layer with them by clicking on this last button in the layer panel under the channels tab. I'm going to name this layer body and give it a color. And the very last thing I want to do is sync this, or set the project folder for this, so that the texture will appear on the body mesh. As you notice, it's not there now. So I'm going to go to File, Set Project, and then I'm going to navigate to that project folder. This project folder happens to be on my external hard drive. That is the project from where it came, and I'm going to click Open, and you can see that now the mesh, the texture appears. If it doesn't appear for you, you will have to save the scene and then quit Maya and restart it. So our scene is now prepared for rigging, and when we come back, we will create some bones. And I'll see you then.